Sir, and we are live. All right, sports update. Adrian, Reid, was good.
Good.
Another episode. So yeah, want to jump right into it, man. We playing meaningful baseball here down the stretch of September. Tigers just a game and a half out of the AL wild card. Reid, how much stock you putting into the Tigers right now?
I mean, as long as they keep winning and the Twins keep losing, I mean, you can put a lot of stock into it. I mean, the Twins are up, so are the Tigers. Twins are up 2-1 on the Guardians, and we're playing the Royals, obviously. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of validity to it. You just need to win 2 more games and help the Twins lose 2 more. So, I mean, I could see it happening. How many games are left? There's 9 games left or something, right? 8 games after today, maybe. I know they play the Royals 4 times. I think they play the White Sox 4 times. So, yeah, so 7 after today, maybe. But either way, really, I think it could come down to like a Red Wings type season where they finish their game and they could get right in, but the Twins somehow pull one out on them. So, I don't know. I mean, I could definitely see it happening. It's not far off. Their chances I saw went from like 0.1% to 18%. So, I mean, I hope it happens. It'd be cool to see some, October baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it surprised me a little bit. They're in the hunt. I mean, it's pretty good. I predicted them to win around 84 to 85 games this year, so they're kind of right on track right now. It has helped that the Twins have kind of like imploded. This last couple of weeks, this last month or so, they've been on a spiral. So it's definitely helping the Tigers. But it's good that they're in the hunt. Especially we talked about this at the trade deadline when they got rid of Flaherty. They're pretty much just giving up on the season. But some of these young guys have gotten better throughout the season. So that definitely helps.
Yeah, I think if they wouldn't have been dealing with that bad injury bug, they probably would have been in the mix a little more. All those bullpen days, Maeda imploding. So I mean, they're making it interesting down the stretch. So we'll see if they sneak in. Personally, I don't feel as though they need to get in the playoffs. They'd be like, I don't know. They were just too inconsistent this year. I don't know if it's going to happen. But Reid, you got Mize on the mound tonight, man. You got over under on 5 strikeouts for Mize tonight.
I think I had like 3 or 4. I mean, he had 2 last I looked. I could see him getting over 4. I could see him probably getting to 5 strikeouts. Over 5 might be a little tough with Kansas City's hitting's been pretty good. So I don't know if I could take him over 5, but I could see him pushing at 5.
Okay, yeah. If they get that win tonight, man, things gonna be real interesting, really interesting. All right, so yeah,
he's at 3 right now.
Okay.
2 innings.
What inning is that game in?
It's the bottom of the 3rd right now, so he's pitching right now.
Okay, so yeah, we'll see how that plays out for the Tigers. They come start this game a game and a half out, so they're itching to that AL wild card. All right, so Adrian, Michigan State currently 3-0 right now, man. How's Michigan State getting it done?
Aiden, it's the Aiden Child show, man. He's just progressing, man. He's trying to get better. First couple games turned the ball over a lot, but it's just just them getting better, trying to find a rhythm. It sucks that they lost a second guard to injury to season injury. That doesn't help because they've got a couple guys who I think in the future can be NFL draft picks, but so far the schedule hasn't been too crazy, so they're trying to work their way and getting better. And they got a tough game going down to the Boston College for the red bandana game. Reid knows all about that game, so that'll be a tough game for them. So, and then this Boston College team is a lot better than what people predicted. We talked about Thomas Castellanos, Boston College quarterback. They almost went to Missouri and beat Missouri last week, and it was a tight game. So I think Michigan State. It's going to be tough for them to win in Boston College, but this game will really show what they're made of right now. So I like where the team is headed. They're moving in the right direction. I think Jonathan Smith is doing a good job. It's going to take a little time, but they're on the right trajectory, in my opinion.
Yeah, like Adrian said, I think it's a lot to do with Aiden Childs. The problem that I think will hit him down the road is the injury bug. I know that they lost, I think, 2 starting DBs to season-ending injury or 1 to season-ending injury. But yeah, I think that again, they have a tough game coming up. I just don't know how. I think it's 7 games that they'll win this season, but I don't know. Illinois, Indiana both look good. I don't know if they're on the schedule, and then you also have to go to Ohio State and you do Ohio State first, I believe, and then they fly out afterwards on short. They play Oregon on a Friday night, so you got to go out west, play in Oregon on Friday night. So that's going to be a tough part of the schedule. And I think they come back and they play Iowa. So yeah, I mean they got a tough stretch here in the middle of the season, but as long as the offense can click and Aiden can kind of keep the turnovers under wraps, then I think they'll be fine. I think that they can win that 7 games.
Adrian, Boston College favored by 7 points Saturday. How does Boston College cover?
I think they do cover. They've been playing really good football this season. Like I said, they won the Missouri and almost beat Missouri. And Missouri is a pretty good team, I believe, in the SEC, who's one of the sleepers in the conference. But I do believe Boston College finds a way, forces a couple of turnovers. Castellanos, like I said, he can move around very good. I don't know if Michigan State has enough depth, like Reid talked about, to be able to keep up with this Boston College team, especially, like I said, with this red bandana game. They play like their hair's on fire in this game, and it's a night game at that. So Aiden Childs is going to have to not be Superman. He's going to have to not turn the ball over and get the ball up to Nick Marsh. But I don't think the defense has enough to stop this Boston College offense. So I say Boston College wins 28-20.
Yeah, I mean, the red bandana game, like I said, it's always tough. So going into Boston College, not favorable. I still think they hang in there. I think Michigan State can cover that. I think that they can. I think the offense is high powered enough to go against Boston College defense, who have been flying around. But I still think that Jonathan Smith will be able to dial something up and they'll be able to handle it. So I think Michigan State cover. Win. I don't know if I'm going to take them to win yet, but I definitely think they cover.
I'm taking Boston College in the points here. Give me Boston College by 10 points. Give State their first loss of the season. All right, so Adrian, Michigan, they had the win against Arkansas State, but your boy Davis Warren threw 3 interceptions. Sharon Moore has named Orgy as a starter for the next game. So where are you at with this whole Michigan saga?
We're just not a good football team this year, honestly. It's nothing has looked easy. It looks like grinding teeth with this offense. It's almost like my Pittsburgh Steelers watching their offense. Both my favorite teams love to just lull you to sleep and just try to grind you out like we're playing 1970s football. But I mean, I say it's about time they went to Alex Orgy. I mean, you got to lean into what he does best. But the thing is, they're basically going to be running almost the Army Navy offense pretty much at this point in time. He comes in, Alex Orgy comes in, he leads that drive for a touchdown. It's a passing touchdown. It's kind of crazy. He has the same amount of touchdowns as Davis Warren does. And I think the real crucial reason why he took Davis Warren out was the fact that he had 3 picks. All 3 of his incompletions were interceptions. So that's 6 on the year. You cannot turn the ball over that many times. Michigan already had 7 turnovers in 3 games. They had 8 all of last year. So the inexperience is just proven. Like I told you guys before, he's a walk-on for a reason. And you play Orgy, lean into the run game, it's not going to get you very far. This team's in trouble, man. I believe they find a way to possibly win 8 games. I said 9 at the beginning of the year, maybe 10 if everything goes right, but everything is went about as bad as it could possibly go offensively. So I believe they beat all the teams they will be. And I'll get to my USC pick, but that's going to be a game that's flipped for me. So I don't see them winning any more than 8 games. But this team's in trouble this year. They don't have the juice anywhere. They should have hit the portal like I talked about last week and got a quarterback, just like Reid's Florida State team. If the quarterback situation is not working out, and the guys not on the roster, maybe Jaden Davis, but he's not ready yet. There's no receiving guy who's emerged. And then Coastal Leveland's hurt on top of that. So apparently it's an arm injury. So his status for this game weekends up in the air. So we don't even know. There's a lot of questions that need to get answered. But this offense is a middle school offense right now. It's pathetic. It's putting so much pressure on the defense to be great. I know defense took a little step back considering all the guys they lost, but it's just everything's not going good right now, man. It's going to be one of those seasons where we just very frustrated. I'm almost past the point where I'm just mad. It's just like I kind of expected. So, you got to be realistic, man.
Yeah, I don't know how much more Orgy's going to help than Warren will. I mean, maybe he's a little bit better of a passer, but you also have to, look at it in the perspective of he didn't even beat him out to be the starter to begin with. So, I mean, I guess maybe they're just trying to see if the cream will rise to the top with him kind of coming in and kind of giving a different, perspective on the offense. Like Adrian said, it's going to be a lot of running the ball. So I know LSU ran a lot on USC, and so maybe they can put something together there. USC has looked good, though. Obviously, they've won all their games handily. So I don't know. It all depends on if the defense just steps up. I don't know if Orgy is going to be enough on a quarterback change, but if defense can step up and hold their own, then I think that Michigan could be fine. But I just don't see anywhere where that happens. I don't see where the defense is going to be strong enough to stop the USC offense. So that's where I'm at. I don't know. I don't think Orgy's going to help them anymore. Again, like I said, they'll be in the Michigan State boat 7 to 8 games, in my opinion, if they're lucky. They end the season at Ohio State. Oregon seems like they've got everything together. So, yeah, it's just – I mean, again, like I said, Indiana and Illinois both look really good. Minnesota, they got to play Minnesota. Minnesota's been pretty solid. So, I got to see where they go, this week and see how Orgy looks, and then you kind of move from there. At this point, it can't look much worse than it already is.
You're right about that.
Yeah. So, Adrian, USC 6-point favorites. How you see this one going?
Unless Michigan can actually throw a forward pass for more than 15 yards, they're not beating USC. USC is not any world beaters by any means, but unless you just physically punch USC's in the mouth for the entire game and run, then yeah. But I don't see Michigan winning this game. I see USC coming in here and winning. I see 24-17.
Yeah, I think Lincoln Riley's offense is probably going to be it's probably going to be able to overload this Michigan defense. I think Sherrone Moore is still kind of deer in the headlights with this head coaching job and trying to figure out this quarterback situation. So I definitely take USC and the points as well.
Hey, Raaj, coming from me and Reid's perspective, and I'm sure all college football fans can relate, if you don't have a quarterback in college football today, you have no shot at winning anything, nothing. I don't care how good your running game is. I don't care how good your defense is. I don't care what kind of coach you got. You're kind of capped out at some point in time. Look at what the Renaissance look at Josh Heupel. Look at Steve Sarkisian, quarterback whispers. Look at Lane Kiffin, Lincoln Riley. When you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a shot. Imagine Caleb Williams at USC. They weren't great on defensively, but he kept them in the games. So just the fact that we're talking about this is bringing back the days of when Michigan had, I'm not even going to say Will Spate because he was okay. He was better than what Davis Warren gave him. But John O'Corn and, oh, my God, I could just keep going. And it's just bad right now. So the portal days, you got to figure it out. You got to always make sure you got a type of quarterback in your pocket somewhere, man, because if not, you're just assed out.
All right. Let's see. Reid Davis said, Reid, what's wrong with FSU?
Go ahead, Reid. Let it rip.
The defense is bad. They can't stop the pass. They can't stop the run. The offensive line couldn't hold back a toddler. You have a quarterback that his whole first quarter stat line was 5 for 5 for 7 yards. Then he, finally threw him for 20 yards or 15 yards, and that I think was his longest completion of the day. And then just when you thought, he was giving you a little hope, you get down in the fourth quarter, and then he tries to run. He does something stupid. It's just a microcosm of everything that's going wrong with this Mike Norvell team. I think after this week, you start 0-3. It's the first time you've been 0-3 in a long time. So I think at this point, if you can't get much worse, I don't think DJU's the guy, and you got to put someone like Chrome and Hawk up. Everybody these Glenn can go up the street and pound sand because he's not the answer either. He was just as bad as DJU last season, and you saw him in the ACC championship game when Brock Glenn couldn't pass for more than 100 yards. So I'd rather see a guy like Chrome and Hawk, obviously DJU was a high recruit, but he was a high recruit 5 years ago. He's not a high recruit anymore, and we saw what he could do everywhere else. It's just a lot of things that are bad. The defense is bad. It's not what I thought they were going to be. I I thought adding Marvin Jones Jr. would have been great opposite of Patrick Payton, kind of keeping like the Jared Verse lineage in. I thought that Cypress was going to be great. I thought that Jackson was going to be a great corner. Neither of them are anything that's to write home about. And then these running backs just don't look great either. I mean, Roydell Williams, maybe it's not all his fault, but he was transferred from Alabama. He can't get past 5 yards past his offensive line. He runs into a whole pit of people as soon as he gets the ball handed off to him. I said last week, if they don't make it past the 50-yard line, I'm never watching another snap of this team unless Kromenhoek gets put in. I will not be watching Florida State this weekend.
I will say, Reid being my homeboy, we did exchange some texts in the group chat, some voice memos. I know Reid was mad because he never sends those. So hearing them lose it, I can relate as a Michigan guy, even though that game was not in doubt, but just very frustrating watching inept quarterback play, especially in 2024 when offenses should not have a hard time. It's just very frustrating. At one point, I know DJU was 5 for 6 for like 7 yards. So it was pretty pathetic. And one thing, I feel as if this team is just quit. They have Mike Norvell's lost the locker room for this season, especially the longer he's playing DJU. And then on top of that, I don't even think Memphis played their best game. They only won by 8, and this game was close late in the fourth. I think they played more of their C-plus football, but that just tells you that there's just something going on in Florida State. It won't be figured out. It's not even October, and Reid is ready to launch this team out of a cannon. So,
I mean, at this point, Florida doesn't even look great. Like, being one of our main rivals, Florida doesn't even look great. We play them at the end of the season in Florida, and I don't think that I think that Florida, as bad as they are, well, they'll put up 30 points on this team. Especially with that, I mean, they have the number 1 quarterback recruit from this class because who's old boy from Wisconsin that transferred there? Grant Mertz. Okay. Is that the one that? Yeah, he went down with an injury. Now they start this freshman, I believe. I don't know if he's back yet or not, but I think they'll lose that. I think they're gonna get absolutely. I mean, the opening spread on the Miami Florida State game should be 38.5 off rip. I'm telling you right now. Like the second they play Miami, I think it's 2 weeks or something like that. They play Miami. They're gonna play Notre Dame.
Who does Florida State play this weekend?
They play Cal at home.
Yeah,
Cal. Florida State is 2-point favorites.
And Cal shouldn't even have a football program at this point. They're like the bottom feeder of those teams out west. So it's like, if they lose this game, I don't know, boys. If they lose this game, it's gonna be dark days ahead if they lose this game.
Yeah.
They play Miami October 26th. So you still got another month or so.
Yeah, and then the game after that is Notre Dame,
Carolina.
right? North Carolina and Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is the week after that, so the 9th, November 9th.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was. I thought it was the 2nd, but 9th, yeah.
I mean, Reid, do you at least see a bowl game?
No, hell no. Are you kidding me? Not with this team. You just went through. You are 0-3 against Georgia Tech, Boston College, and Memphis, and now you got to go play Cal. If you don't beat Cal, no, there's no. You're already 0-3. There's no way you're in a bowl game. No, this team. Like Adrian said, Norvell lost this locker room. And I don't even think Kromenhoek should have come in and be the savior. I'm just saying I want to see better quarterback play than DJU, and I think at this point a freshman would give you better quarterback play than DJU would. I hate room for people to get injured, but at this point I want DJU to get injured so we have to see what Kromenhoek is.
Yeah, it's bad.
Why be better? We got a why be better in the chat. Shout out Act. Say we'll see.
Shout out
Act. All right, so let's get our picks into these weekend's games. All right, so Adrian, you got NC State at Clemson. Clemson's a 20-point favorite in this one. It's Clemson cover.
I'll say, Dabo's laughing his way all the way to the bank right now, seeing that Florida State's transfer portal didn't work out this season. He's laughing at some of these teams. I'm not a big Dabo fan right now. They do have some emerging receivers, but I definitely think they beat NC State. I don't think they're good. They got Grayson McCall. He's been awful for NC State this year, the transfer quarterback from Coastal. So give me Clemson.
NC State was ranked last week, no? And then they lost?
When they played Tennessee, they were, I believe.
Oh, okay. It was 2 weeks ago, or week 2, they were ranked.
They started the season ranked, yeah.
Clemson's 20.5?
20 points.
Oh, man, I don't know.
I believe Clemson's coming off a bye too, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm gonna say NC State covers that. By the way, so
yeah, I think NC State covers that. I think 20 and a half points is way too many to give Clemson. This Clemson team hasn't blown me away by any means, and I think NC State can do enough to survive that. Maybe whether it's with a garbage time touchdown or not, but I mean they were a ranked team. I love the cartoon wolf head on the side of the helmet. So yeah, give me NC State covering that game.
Scratch that big important note for this game. Carson McCall is out, so which means CJ Bailey, the freshman, it will be starting against.
Give them me that cover.
NC State starting the freshman.
Yeah, McCall's injured.
CJ Bailey, the big kid though, 6'6".
Jeez, that is a big boy.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm glad you told us that because I was gonna take NC State in the points, but now that I know that.
Yep.
Let's not cost the people. Let's make sure we get the people what we know the best. I don't want anybody mad at us, but I just seeing it. So I'm checking some stuff I forgot. Grayson McCall was hurt.
Yeah, so run with Clemson at home with the points and coming off a bye week. All right, so Reid, you got number 12 Utah at number 14 Oklahoma State. Utah 2-point favorite in this one. How you see that?
Yeah, this. I was looking at this one earlier, and it's tough to me because Oklahoma State, I think it was week 2, they didn't look great. And Utah is Utah. I mean, they're always pretty consistent. It's at Okie State.
Yeah.
Give me Oklahoma and the points. I'll take Oklahoma to cover on this one.
Yeah, I'll go Oklahoma State. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about Utah. I just not a believer in Utah right now. I don't care what they do in the regular season. I'm just not a believer in them. I'm taking Oklahoma State. Ollie Gordon needs to get going, man. He's been real quiet. So I expect him to try to have.
He was out last week with chlamydia. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he was out. I'm serious. I'm pretty sure he was out with an STD.
He played last week. His stat line was terrible. I can tell you exactly what he had.
Maybe it was a game time decision, but
it was bad.
I heard something like that happened.
Last week he finished last week's 17 carries for 41 yards last week against Tulsa, although they won 45-0. So they were up like 35-0 at one point.
Yeah. Okay, Adrian, my last game here. You got hold on, my bad. I got Utah. Give me Utah in those 2 points. I got Utah beating Oklahoma State. I believe in Utah, man. I think Utah can win the Big 12. I believe they're going to be one of the playoff teams. I think Utah can make some noise, man. I believe in Utah.
Will Cam rise and play is the question though, because I know he hurt his hand, but they said he should be playing, so we'll see. But
yeah, if Cam Rising stays healthy, I got them going to the playoffs and winning the Big 12. But yeah, if he gets hurt, then nah. All right, Adrian, you got number 6 Tennessee at number 15 Oklahoma. Oklahoma 7-point favorite in this one.
Man, this is the return of Josh Heupel, the former Oklahoma quarterback who won a national championship in 2000 with Bob Stoops and company, making his return. I'm going with Tennessee now.
I said that wrong. Tennessee's a 7-point favorite. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still taking Tennessee to win this game on the road. Oklahoma's offensive line has been awful, and they're notoriously known for having good offensive lines. Jackson Arnold's been pretty good, but the way this Tennessee offense has looked has been phenomenal. They were up 62-0, I believe, at the half last week against Kent State. And not even as that, their defensive line is nasty, man. Jay Spears Jr., potential top 10 pick. Just getting better on the defensive side of the ball. But I think Tennessee goes in there and rolls Oklahoma.
Yeah, this was tough because Oklahoma's defense is pretty good. I think they're ranked like top 3 in the nation, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know. Tennessee, granted, they haven't played in the craziest competition, but they have been rolling everybody they played. They scored like 70 points the first half last week. I love Nico. I can't pronounce his name to save my life. The Imanalava or whatever it is, I think something like that.
Ima'ala Ava or something like that.
Yeah, something crazy like that. But he's insane. He's a freshman, 6'6". If he puts on a few more pounds, I think he's going to be a top draft pick when he comes out. So I think that offense is strong enough to overpower that defense. And I don't believe in Oklahoma's offense at all. So I'll take Tennessee. And I've been riding with Tennessee because I like Nico so much. So I'm going to take Tennessee and the points to win. I think they'll win. I think they win by like 10 points. 10? No, I think they win by 14. I'm going to say 14.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm taking Tennessee in the points. I got Tennessee beating them by 13, man. Tennessee's been looking really good. They've been rolling some people, man. So I expect to see them in the playoff too. All right, let's see. Access Utah has been balling since last year.
They just had troubles with Utah State, if I'm not mistaken, last week, didn't they?
Zach Wilson's little brother was balling for them.
Who's he play for? Utah State?
Utah. Utah's backup quarterback is Zach Wilson's little brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 38-21. So I guess it was a little stronger than I thought. I thought it was closer than that.
We got Ish in here asking, will Arkansas State bounce back?
That is a no. Ish. They go on the road to Iowa State, coming off a bye after beating the rival Iowa. Rocco Beck, Samuel, the running back's been good for them. Matt Campbell has a really good team this year. I think they can contend to win the Big 12. And guys, I think the Big 12 is probably the most unpredictable conference this year. The games are all fun in the Big 12, man.
Yeah, what Adrian said.
We got Rob in the chat. He never got an email. Rob, man, we getting you on the next one, man. We getting you on the next
Rob.
one. We didn't touch base or nothing. So, all right. So yeah, let's get to the NFL, man. Reid, Lions lost to the Bucks 20-16, man. Go ahead, break it down for us, man. Why'd the Lions lose this game?
Yeah, it was strange because the defense was balling, and the thing that sucked for me is I didn't really get to watch the first half because I was down working a Tigers event and the Lions tailgates that were going on. So I really listened to the first half on the radio before I got to my buddy's house. And actually, it wasn't even the first half. Maybe it was the first quarter I missed. First quarter and some of the second. But, I mean, the defense was doing well. Obviously, the secondary is all brand new. The DB room is going to struggle. Carlos Davis was a little bit banged up here and there. Brian Branch is flying around like crazy. Kirby's playing great, but you still have Terrion Arnold as your quarterback too. Basically, Amik Robertson, I haven't had any complaints with him. He's done well. So yeah, I think a lot of it falls on the offense. Granted, how much could they do that in those last quarter and a half? After they came out halftime, St. Brown got hurt. He got re-injured. Laporta hasn't been much of a factor in the game. I don't like the way Jared Goff's playing at all. I think Jared Goff, granted he hasn't been sacked once, but he's been knocked down a few times. He's making low throws, questionable throws. Yeah, I don't know. It's just bizarre to me. It's making the offense look a little more human than it was last year. Obviously, they're down 3 of their starting DBs. Vita Vea goes down in that game. I don't know. It just didn't seem right to me. And I think I think there's a stat where it's like 2 of Jared Goff's first 6 games come in his worst games come in the second game of the season. Some weird, analytic stat like that. But I think they bounced back. I mean, the Cardinals looked like they were playing with their hair on fire against the Rams. So you do have kind of a tough opponent with a scrambling opponent like Kyler Murray. Lions kind of struggle with that, but I think hopefully Davenport plays because he kind of does help. I mean, does he help Aiden? Because he wasn't even in there. But the thing that really sucks, I think a lot of it was coaching, man. A lot of it was Dan Campbell. Whether it wasn't the right play call or switching up the play call from what Ben Johnson had, or the flub we got screwed by another 10-second runoff when he called the field goal unit out on there, and they, we're going to spike the ball. All you need to do is wait for the field goal unit, wait for them to spike the ball to send them out. So it's just some things they got to clean up. I'm not losing all hope, like some of these other Lions fans are. I think it's just, they lost to Seattle last season in the second game of the season in overtime. So I'm not too worried about it. Bucs are a playoff team, whether they have injuries or not. You beat the Chiefs last season because of injuries. So it happens. It's football, man. This is the NFL. You don't expect to go 18-0 every season, or else, you'd be the Patriots. It's not realistic. You lose games.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think shout out to the defense. They came to play on Sunday. Did a good job holding Baker under 200. Held Rashad White in check. Mike Evans didn't do too much. I think the secondary is getting better with Carlton Davis, Terry Arnold playing with that wrap on his hand, still playing well. Aiden 4.5 sacks, phenomenal. Like I said, I expected him to get 15, 16 sacks this year, and I see it coming. Defense, like I said, no problem with the defense. I think Ben Johnson just did not call a great game, and Dan Campbell didn't manage this game well in this game. And luckily, they got that fake punt on fourth and 12, I believe, on the side of their field. So that was a gutsy play call. But like you talked about the play before halftime, you can't do that. You gotta know. You gotta read the. You gotta know the situation and time. And then that interception, like early in the fourth, where Jared Goff gets blitzed and he just throws it up to the safety sitting in the middle of the field. That cost you 3 points right there. And I just didn't like the attitude that he had, just him dumping the ball down. Like I said, the game plan was just not good against this Bucks team. I don't know. You get in the red zone 7 times, you score once. It's got to get cleaned up. So I believe it's just them having to play better. I believe they'll be better. It'll be a wake up call. This is a really solid Bucks team this season. Baker Mayfield's savvy. They've got some guys. And I do also believe that Jared Goff just needs to throw the ball to the open guy. I believe he tried to force the ball way too much to St. Brown.
Not only that, man, he tried to force it too much going into the flat to Gibbs too. They were like,
Yeah.
and when they were driving down the field and they were in crunch time, you do you have one timeout left and you have 2 passes for like 8 yards over the middle. Like that was horrible. You can't be doing that when you need 4 points. You have to sit in the pocket. You have to look for the open guy. I think they should have tried to do a crossing route with Jameson Williams at that point with how far back they were, because he could easily burn for a 50-yard crosser. So sorry to interrupt you, Adrian, but
No, you're good. I think they'll be much better, much improved. Luckily for them, there was a lot of upsets this weekend in the league, so it was crazy from Baltimore losing, Dallas losing, the Chiefs almost lost. So the Lions will be fine. The 49ers lost to the Vikings, so Packers bounced back. So it's just a lot. You just got to improve from week to week. You know how this league is. The games are super tight. Games make the difference, but they'll be better, especially going to Arizona right now, coming off a big win against a Rams who the Lions beat. But I think that was more so the Rams' injuries, more so than the way Arizona played. So I think the Lions are going to bounce back this weekend coming up.
There is one thing I'll say that was a little upsetting, but obviously it doesn't happen, all the time. Derek Barnes, he swatted the ball down, so it doesn't matter. But Derek Barnes, when he put his arms up and he had that ball right in his face, if he could have somehow wrangled that one in, it would have been gone right for a touchdown because he was wide open on like the Bucks 10. So that one hurt a little bit, but he batted it down to make it a 4th and long. So I can't really complain about it. Like Adrian said, I just don't think it was their best play calling game, honestly. And we got lucky because Dallas lost. Philly lost, 49ers lost, Rams lost. Granted, the Rams lost to the Cardinals, who are still in your division, the NFC. So I just think, in your conference. Thank you. Couldn't get that out. But yeah, all the big teams lost. So you can't really complain too much about it. You don't want to lose, but it hurts less when you see those other teams lost.
Yeah, it should. The Lions played exceptionally well to put up well over 400 total yards.
But 2 bad turnovers and red zone scoring is going to get you beat.
Oh, yeah. Not scoring in the red. Yeah, you can put up those. That's what I was saying to my friends and my brother the other day. It's like, yeah, you could put up 500 yards on the ground, but, all that comes from when you're playing and you get to the red zone, you don't score. You're just taking trips to the red zone and you're not getting the job done. So, you take those 3 points any day of the week, but at some point you need to score 7,
Yeah, defenses are fine with giving up yardage. So they'll bend, a lot of defenses are bend but don't break. It's 2024. You're going to give up yards, but if you can hold teams to field goals over touchdowns in the red zone, that's a defensive coordinator, defensive player to take that any day of the week.
Yeah. So Reid, we got to see the injury report, see who's all playing and everything, but which way you leaning in the Cardinals game, Lions and Cardinals this Sunday?
Yeah, so a lot of people will probably lean towards the Cardinals after they just dismantled the Rams. But the nice thing about it is I think that the Lions are just going to come out so hungry, and I think Dan Campbell's pissed off that he didn't coach a game that well. So I think the Lions can go out, and I think they can win that one. As long as you find someone that can, I think your defensive line, hopefully Reader actually plays this week. I know they said he could be out 4 weeks, but I don't know if there's any news on him. But if you can stop James Conner from running the ball and hold down Marvin Harrison Jr., which I expect either Terrion Arnold or Carlton Davis to do. I mean, he's a rookie just like Terrion Arnold. They, potentially almost played each other. But yeah, I think that they can win. I think they're going to come out hungry. I think they're going to be pissed off. So I could definitely see them winning. I don't think the Cardinals defense is going to be, as good as they played against the Rams. And granted, the Rams were depleted everywhere else too. Our offensive line is still healthy, and Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I mean, at this point, you got to just pound the rock. I mean, they showed against the Rams. Just if Jared Goff's not throwing it well, then run the ball. You have 2 running backs that can carry the ball 20 times each. Just run the ball. So I think they're going to come out with their hair on fire, and I think they'll beat the Cardinals this weekend. I feel pretty confident about it, even though they are traveling out there.
Yeah, I think they beat the Cardinals as well. They'll be a bounce back.
All right, yeah, Lions 3-point favorite in that one.
Yeah, I think they think Vegas knows something.
Hey, what's up, Adam? Got my sister in the building. All right, Adrian, your Steelers currently 2-0 right now. So what have you been seeing out of your Steelers? What's your analysis?
Lead the division.
Hey, we're leading the division right now. That's all I can ask. Justin Fields, best thing about him, no turnovers in 2 games for this offense. Couldn't ask for more. I will say defense is playing phenomenal. I like the addition of Deshaun Elliott. He's been phenomenal with pairing with Mika Fitzpatrick. Rest of the defense has been great. TJ Watt still a beast. Once again, like I talked about with Atlanta, they missed a lot of holding calls. But the main thing for me right now is the offense, and we're going to focus on. And I'm going to just get this rant off real quick. We drafted Broderick Jones last year in the draft to play left tackle, guys, and he's still not playing left tackle. We continue to play Dan Moore at left tackle. I'm not understanding it. And then Broderick Jones has a series where he has 2 holding penalties and a false start. And at that point in time, they take him out to put our other guy we drafted, Troy Fatano, in at right tackle. Why not play Fatano at right tackle, move Broderick to left, and take Dan Moore out? We're not going to spend a top 20 pick on a left tackle to make him sit on the bench and just not play him. I don't know what the obsession with is, Dan Moore. You got to coach him through these issues because now you're killing his confidence. And guess what? That means if he doesn't play well and is not good by the end of this year, we just ultimately wasted a pick on a premium position in the offensive lineman. Mike Tomlin, do the right thing and play both his first year guy and your second year guy, and let's get it moving. I don't understand the hesitancy. I don't want to hear it. Justin Fields can move good enough. He's fine. He's a left tackle, a natural left tackle, and played as left tackle. But at that, let's get to Justin Fields. Played pretty well, 117. We missed a lot of plays. There was some bad officiating in this game. Like in the first half, the offense was moving well. They missed a touchdown from George Pickens to Justin Fields on a bogus OPI call. That would have been George Pickens' touchdown. It would have been 14-zip. Instead, they kick a field goal, get 3 after that, and the defense just shuts down Bo Nix and company. They're doing what we're supposed to be doing. But I will say I'm a lot more pleased with the process this year compared to last year with Matt Canada. So it's a work in progress right now. But 2-0, like I said, leading the division. We welcome him, Jim Harbaugh, and the Los Angeles Chargers. And we're not sure if Justin Herbert will be playing. I know he suffered an injury late in that Carolina game. So we'll see what happens. But it'll be the home opener, and I believe they do win. And I know Mike Tomlin did say that Justin Fields will be the quarterback going forward right now because I know Russell Wilson is still dealing with this calf injury.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Fields, I think, first of all, I want Justin Fields just to do great because Caleb Williams is playing terrible, and that offensive line in Chicago is terrible. I've always been a Justin Fields guy. You guys have known that. I told Adrian that he's lucky to get him once they got him. I think you have to keep him for as the starter. Clean up some of the offensive line work, and like Adrian said, maybe start the guys that you drafted at those positions, and your offensive line will get a little bit better. Justin Fields would have had a way better game if the penalties were cleaned up and you played a little bit more of a buttoned up game. But I mean, ultimately they came out with the win. As long as he can start scoring touchdowns, you really think that you have George Pickens, but as Adrian said before, there's not really a whole lot going on in the wide receiver room there. Roman Wilson, I don't think has played yet. Still, right? He's still injured. Sure. So you really just are relying on George Pickens at this point and Justin Fields running the ball, Najee and Jalen Warren. Like, that's your offense at this point. So I think, no offense to Adrian, I don't think they're chasing Super Bowls right now with this team, but I don't think that's the position you're going to be in. You want to be in a position where you rebuild and you make it strong. The defense looks incredible as always, so you don't really need to worry about that side of the ball. I would just draft offense next season. Maybe sign some guys in free agency if you can. But yeah, they need at least one more wide receiver that can help them play, unless Roman Wilson kind of becomes that St. Brown slot guy, and then you get another guy that's on the outside with George Pickens. But yeah, get the O-line work together, and I think if you make it so Justin Fields doesn't have to run, I think you're going to be in a lot better situation than if you make him have to run. You know what I mean? So, excuse me. I think starting Justin Fields is a smart move. Having Russell Wilson as kind of your plan B is also a fine move. But I keep Justin Fields started for the rest of the season. I extend him at the end of the season, and potentially, I think this next quarterback class is going to be super deep. You can draft a guy if you want and have him sit behind Justin Fields. But say bye-bye to Russ at the end of this season. Extend Justin Fields for 2 to 3 years on a, friendly contract, because he's not going to be, you're not going to be getting $50 million a year, I don't think. You can probably get him for a Kirk Cousins-esque contract. Granted, he is younger. But unless he really, really balls out and they figure it out, I'd keep him on a low contract and just see what you have. Maybe draft a guy, like I said, next year or the year after. But really focus on the offense, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Chargers at home against Pittsburgh, 2-point favorite as of right now. And we got to see if Herbert's going to be playing in that game. So that should be a good one for sure. All right, so Adrian, the Panthers, they're benching Bryce Young to start Andy Dalton. It's just been a complete dumpster fire for Bryce Young out there in Carolina, man. What you think about the Bryce Young benching?
I just think it's I put some of the blame on Bryce Young. He's got to get his confidence up. He's lacking. As we talked about his stature, he's a smaller guy, but I think his mental is just cooked right now. His mental and just process everything. Just the confidence is just shot right now. They haven't set him up in the perfect position. Look, they traded all those draft picks to get him, but haven't done it. They haven't surrounded him with any talent. If you look at this Carolina team, who on the team scares you? I know they got Deontay Johnson, but they moved up to get Xavier Legette. They could have had Xavier Worthy and still kept their draft picks. They don't even have their second round pick for next year as well. Derek Brown, their best player, gets hurt, and they don't have any premium position of players. It's been a dumpster fire, especially with the hiring and firing coaches. It's not looking good for Bryce, man. I ultimately feel really bad for him. I think his time in Carolina is probably done at this point in time. For him, I think he just needs a fresh start. Do they put him on the bench maybe to get his confidence back? But they're going to lose the locker room because Canales is in his first year as a head coach. I just think it's not a win-win for Carolina right now. I thought the Patriots would be bad, but my God, Carolina is awful. I feel bad for the guy, man. Even if C.J. Stroud was drafted to Carolina, I don't think he'd be the C.J. Stroud that he is in Houston. Because if you look at Houston, look at the weapons and look at the things that have
surrounded him. D'Amico Ryans is an unbelievable coach.
Exactly. So, I mean, blame the coaches. They didn't want Bryce Young. They wanted C.J. Stroud. So, Tepper is probably fuming right now. But this is an organization, like I said right now, who is a complete dumpster fire right now.
Yeah, I think it sucks for Bryce Young because I actually like Bryce Young at Bama, and I think a lot of people were down on him because of his height. Granted, he's not as much of an improviser or runs as much as Kyler Murray, but he's a little same height, if not a little bit taller than Kyler Murray. He showed escapability in Alabama. I thought he was perfectly fine in college, and I think in the right situation he'd be a perfectly fine quarterback. I think, like Adrian said, it's just a dumpster fire. Your best offensive weapon is Deontay Johnson. You draft Xavier Legette, who I like. I don't really agree with the Xavier Worthy thing. I think Xavier Worthy is a big product of his environment. I think that he's being used like a Deebo Samuel. I don't think that the Carolina's Panthers with that offensive line and that coaching staff and any of that development would really help Xavier Worthy that much. They drafted Jonathan Brooks, I think, in the second round or third round, and he's a running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't. I think a lot of the drafting was bad. They need an offensive line. I mean, will Andy Dalton maybe win them 1 or 2 more games? Possibly, because he's a veteran. I think the Bryce Young experiment is over there. I would definitely try and trade him away and see what you could get for him to a team. Maybe try and see if New York wants him. Maybe try and see if
go to Miami. Go back.
See what can happen if you could see what Miami will give you for him. But I just think the experiment should be over, and I feel bad for Bryce Young. I think it's 20% Bryce Young's fault. The rest is probably the Carolina Panthers' fault because, again, you go to we saw it with Stafford. I mean, I'm not comparing him to Stafford, but I'm just saying you saw it with the organizations, how they brought in so many head coaches and so many offensive coordinators and quarterbacks coaches and ownership. And you get so much stuff in these young kids and they get, torn down from taking so many hits. We saw it with Justin Fields with Chicago. He was getting destroyed. Justin Fields stinks. He has a resurrection in Pittsburgh now. So, Caleb Williams is looking terrible. He's thrown for almost barely even 200 yards in two games. Like, people are going to say Jaden Daniels is bad because of the offensive line in Washington. And look, he's thriving perfectly fine. I mean, granted, he still plays for Washington, but he's been a better quarterback so far than Caleb Williams has. So I just think Bryce needs to change the scenery. Like I said, New York, Miami would be a good one. The other New York team for the Jets, maybe go sit behind Aaron Rodgers, even though Jordan Travis is there. Maybe a team maybe if Minnesota would even want to give him a chance, sit behind Sam Darnold. I know you got JJ, but just trying to think of other teams that would be good for him to go to. Seattle, I know they got Sam Howell, but Seattle, because they have their new head coach is an offensive-minded coach. I think Miami, honestly, would be a great spot for him because you have Mike McDaniel there. The offensive line it's decent when it's healthy.
Tennessee wouldn't be bad. They got an offensive coach.
Tennessee. I mean, they drafted Will Levis, obviously, but
Will Levis is a dumpster fire. But
I don't think he's going to be anything. So, I mean, you could, if you wanted to, the Bucks. I mean, I know Baker's still young, but you send him to the Bucks, and the only problem with stuff like that is he's a number 1 pick, and then you have cap space. He's got 2 years, and he's going to take up cap space. So that's the only thing that
I was listening to a podcast. I believe they owe him a little over $8 million. So I mean, nothing crazy.
Okay. That's not too bad.
I think if I'm his camp, I'm telling them get me out of here because, like I said, they're 8 to 10 players. I would say probably away from even being a good football team. Like I told you guys, their best player is Derek Brown, a defensive tackle who's hurt. Who on their defense scares you? J.C. Horns has potential, but he's been nothing but hurt.
He's a shell of himself now.
Their GM, Dan Morgan, used to play for the organization back when they had Jake Delhomme and Stephen Davis and Musa Muhammad, and he was a good player for them, but he's in over his head. He doesn't know what he's doing. Tepper is just an out of a control owner. He just wants to be heavily involved in everything. I don't know what to do at this point in time with them. It just, like I said, there's what can you do? What can you do right now? They're in a no-win situation.
I think he's just going to end up. I think he's just going to end up being there for 2 more years, see where it ends up. And I think he's just going to, or a year. I think at the end of this year, maybe they'll see, because he'll go into year 3, and then they'll just trade him, or they'll go ride 1 more year with him and see what happens. I think his confidence is shot with this organization. I don't think he's going to be the same player that he was, and I don't think he'll want to play for this organization again.
Think about this real quick, though, guys. We've talked about all the bad teams in the history of the NFL. When the Chargers were bad, when the Giants were bad,
Lions.
Some of these horrible. When the Bengals were horrible. It's gonna take a special guy to want to come in there and play quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. If I'm whoever the number 1 pick is, I'm probably guaranteeing it's probably a quarterback, maybe Carson Beck or Shador, maybe Quinn. We'll see who emerges. I don't think there's a legit elite number 1 quarterback in this draft class yet, but I'm probably telling my camp, my NC, I'm not going to Carolina. I'm pulling the Eli Manning.
Did you see what I saw something on the internet, some meme that someone made? Carolina will be the first team in history to have back-to-back first-round pick or first overall picks and have the quarterbacks both deny to go there, with Shador Sanders and Arch Manning.
Yeah.
So if you get the first overall pick, yeah, I mean you're getting Quinn Ewers, you're going to take because you're not taking Shador because Dion's not letting that happen. You're getting Quinn Ewers, you're getting Jackson Dart, you're getting Carson Beck, you're getting you have to get Carson Beck. I'm sure that's probably the guy who's going to emerge as number. Although Georgia didn't look great, but yeah, I don't know. I just think those big Shador, Art, and maybe Quinn Ewers would probably say no, but I think everybody else is going to have to say that they're going to. Yeah, Jackson Dart's coming out. Cam Ward. Cam Ward might be a good person to pick. I mean,
That's good. Well, let me look at their schedule real quick for you because I know
if you get one, since the quarterback draft is so heavy this year, if you get one, you might just be in the situation where you have to trade out of one to recruit draft picks that you lost from last season or the last 2 seasons, and have to move back to like 7 to 10 and hope that Jackson Dart or Quinn Ewers or Carson Beck or one of those guys fall further down the draft because you need as many draft picks as you can get now. And this is the draft to trade away that first overall pick. If you want a quarterback, I get it, but it sucks. You're going to have to get rid of your first overall pick in a draft that's very quarterback heavy.
They need talent.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right, so Adrian, the Saints 2-0 right now. Are you buying with the Saints or selling?
Yeah, I am. They got a new offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, son of former offensive coordinator Gary Kubiak. He's found a way to revive Derek Carr. Derek Carr is throwing the football down the field to Shaheed. He's probably arguably the best deep threat receiver right now in the National Football League. Alvin Kamara is on a tear right now. I know he wanted a new contract. The defense is playing lights out. I've seen a stat where the Saints have scored on every possession that Derek Carr has played in this year. 15 out of 15, they've scored every possession. They've already scored 91 points in 2 games. That's fourth in the most points through 2 games in league history. So fourth most. They're on a tear. I believe they do. They can make a threat. They're 2-0 right now, along with Tampa. They're a lot better than I predicted. So I can't write the Saints off right now. I thought they'd be a mediocre football team. Hey, maybe they ended up doing, but off to the hot start they are. This is a great start. Let's see if they can continue it. They host the Philadelphia Eagles Sunday, and what a pivotal game, especially after the Eagles blew that game last night against the Atlanta Falcons. But I think the Saints are legit.
Yeah, the thing for me is, you got to hope that Kamara keeps playing the way that he's playing. Obviously, 4 touchdowns is crazy. I'm trying to sell him in my dynasty league right now, although he's 29 years old. So I don't know what I'll get for him, but if I can get a few first round picks or a first round and a second round pick, I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, they definitely look legit. It just all depends on, can Kamara stay healthy, and will Derek Carr just have continued success, which I think he will. You brought in this new offensive coordinator, and he's turned the whole life around. He makes Derek Carr look like Joe Montana. So, I mean, they play in a not crazy division, I guess, right? I mean, it's them, the Bucks, I mean, the Panthers, and whoever the 4th team is, I can't think of right now.
Bucks, Panthers, Saints, Falcons.
Falcons, that's who it is. Well, the Falcons just won yesterday against Philly, but I mean, it took them a Hail Mary drive. So I definitely think you can win it. Bucks are your only competition for real, I think, with how they're playing in that sense. But that offense, man, that offense is electric. So I'm happy we got them last year, and we don't have to face them this year. I'll tell you that much as a Lions fan.
Yeah, they came out smoking for sure. Let's see. David said, should Tua retire?
I think he should retire. I would if I was him. You got a family, 2 kids, man. It's not worth it right now. You made enough money in the bank. I'm sure he retired and have $1 million, and he can coach or find something he loves to do. I know it'd be tough, but you gotta look at this from a 10 to 15 years down the line. Do you want to be going through some of the things that Junior Seau dealt with? Just those injuries, the brain injuries, no joke, man. Because as we all know, as people, once we hurt our brain, it's just not the same person, man. I just sucks to keep seeing that happen to him. And then what if he goes back in the game and he plays and he slides and get hits again, or something happens, God forbid he dies on the field or something like that, man. Or he turns into a vegetable, man. I think just hang it up, man. It's tough, but you got to do it.
Yeah, that's another one that is really unfortunate because again, he like there's nothing he could have done to avoid more. He's had what 4 concussions or 5 concussions in the last year and a half. 3 of those concussions were just because someone got to him and threw him down on the ground and smashed his head on the ground. So that one running was obviously his fault. Everybody said he should have been wearing a guardian cap. I don't think the guardian cap would have helped him. It was more of a spinal, like a neck injury, like form concussion than like an actual like brain concussion. He hit like in the side, like the Hamlin's side. So yeah, should he retire? Probably. Is he going to retire? I don't expect him to. I know they've put him on IR, so he can have a slower comeback, and he can discuss with neurologist. I agree with everything Adrian said. Retire because you have 2 kids. Being this one has 2 kids. Raaj, you have kids. If you want your head to be healthy, you can remember times with your kids. You have more than enough money. I get it. You probably don't want to screw over the Dolphins organization who gave you a chance, but at some point it's bigger than football, and it's bigger than trying to help out these billionaires that gave you a chance and decided to give you their money. It happens. It's no different than if you guys were working and something happened to you. God forbid something happened to you at your work. They have to pay you out for that stuff. They have insurance for that. So it stinks, but I think you should hang them up and try and go and be a quarterbacks coach at Alabama or something, or go be a quarterback coach like for some team in high school, or maybe even in Hawaii. Like maybe go try and be the head coach for the Hawaii college football team. We know that they're always struggling. So I definitely think you should. I don't think it's gonna happen though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like you said, I think that'd be a good landing spot for Bryce Young.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So, Adrian, the Ravens hungry for a win right now. They're 0-2. They travel to Dallas Sunday, play the Cowboys at 4:30. How you see that one going?
I definitely think they go in and beat the Dallas Cowboys. I believe that the recipe to win this game is run the football. Derrick Henry I believe, can go off against his defensive line, who Dallas cannot stop the run. They won't be able to stop Lamar. I believe the Ravens find a way to win this game. We just got to stop blowing leads. Dallas is just an average football team, in my opinion. I don't think Dak was the reason they lost that game last week. The defense got absolutely torched. I think the Ravens find a way to get off the schneid and go 1-2 because they need this win real bad.
Yeah, this is like my toilet bowl. I won't be watching this game because I can't stand either one of these teams. Unfortunately, I do think the Cowboys win. I think the Cowboys have a bounce back game, and they do win. Going into Jerry's world is hard enough, and I think the only reason that the Cowboys really got torched by the Saints is because they found a way to just take Micah Parsons out of the game. I don't think the Ravens have the offensive line to take Micah Parsons out of the game. After giving up Zeitler, and then they obviously didn't look great against Max Crosby last week when they just played the Raiders. So I think if you can figure out how to get Lamar to improvise a little bit more, it might help. But I still think that Lamar's not throwing the ball enough to warrant this Duran Bland injury that they're missing from the Cowboys. So I just think that the Ravens are in a weird spot. I think that they are getting out coached recently, and I just think Dallas is going to try and have a bounce back game back at Jerry's World. So I'm going to take the Cowboys to win.
Okay, so if the Ravens lose that one for the 0-3, man, who would have seen that coming?
Yeah, I think what is the stat? I don't think anybody since like a long time ago hasn't made the playoffs starting 0-3. It's been a while.
Yeah, so we'll see how it unfolds, man. It's gonna be an interesting one in Dallas. That's Sunday at 4:30. All right, Adrian, let's close it out with the list. Let's get Adrian's current top 5 NFL teams. Let's get the top 5 list.
All right, this one was a little tougher just because of the week we had. It's just been kind of in flux. So, guys, when I do these rankings, it's a disclaimer to all the people who listen. As you guys know, these are the top 5 teams as of right now. These are they can change over the season right now. There could be teams on here who are completely off the list by the time the season's over with. But right now, number 1 I think is obvious, as we all know, the Kansas City Chiefs. They win another big game. Although another penalty was controversial against the rookie, but it was a penalty. The Chiefs just find a way to win football games. And if you're the Bengals, 3 minutes left when they punt the ball back, I said this game's over. I don't care what happens. You cannot give Patrick Mahomes the ball back. He's like the Terminator, man. You gotta step on his neck and not give him a chance to get up. Number 2 right now, I'll go with the Houston Texans. I know they didn't have the greatest offensive performance Sunday night, but that defense, man, is ferocious, man. Just good. They've got talent everywhere. The turnaround they've had in these last 2 years has been phenomenal. They have players everywhere, from Derek Stingley to Jalen Petrie to Will Anderson, Reid's guy. D'Amico Ryans is a great coach. Casier's done a great job. CJ Stroud has been phenomenal. Shout out to my boy Nico Collins, Michigan guy, baby. CJ's best receiver, but they're on the mission right now. At number 3, right now, I'll put the New Orleans Saints right now. They're playing phenomenal football, like I talked about, 91 points in the first 2 games. Just on the tear right now. Number 4, Reid's Detroit Lions, baby. I know they lost, but I believe the defense played better than they did in the first game. The offense just hasn't stepped it up, and Jared Goff has to pull his head out of from hiding and play some good football, because he's been an average quarterback, maybe below average, so he needs to get it together. At 5, this was tough. I'm gonna still have the San Francisco 49ers right now. I know they didn't go in there and win. Brock Purdy didn't play his best game, but they're still playing good. Offensive line still good with Trey Mason's playing well. I don't know. They keep getting these running backs, and I think this does a disservice to Christian McCaffrey because he's playing well. So it makes another reason why our team's not playing running backs. This guy's coming in and just running the ball. Maybe it's the Shanahan scheme, but it happens. I think the 49ers are dealing with a lot of injuries right now. Debo's going to be out for a few weeks now with the calf strain right now. And then sliding out my top 6 and 7, I almost want to put the Buffalo Bills right in there. They had an impressive win last week on the road at Miami. The number 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2-0, came in and beat the Detroit Lions. So there's it, guys.
I like it. I would. The only thing I would switch is I would probably. I probably would take the Saints at 2 just because the points they've put up, and it was against the Dallas team, and the Texans only put up 19 against Chicago, who does have a good defense. I won't take that away from them, but the Saints also put up double digits on the Cowboys, so I would swap those. And I could, I don't know. A part of me wants to say I would take the Lions out of it. The Lions out of it just because the offense was so bad, and the first game they played was kind of a B game. But granted, they had 2 against 2 tough opponents. So I would probably leave them in there. I would probably slide them down to 5 and put the Niners at 4, just because the Niners had an impressive Jets win. Granted, they did just lose to Minnesota, but I think that just was more or less, like you said, a lot of injuries that they're dealing with. Lions don't have kind of the injuries that they're dealing with. And the Bills, the Bills are really a tight – it's basically 1A, 1B with Lions and Bills right now, because that Bills team just showed you that Josh Allen, the first week he played Superman to win the game, and he didn't have to do anything this last game for them to win. It was all James Cook and running the ball. So they're definitely right on the heels of the Lions, in my opinion.
Yeah. I would put the Bills over the Lions. I mean, I'd have put them over there. But other than that, I pretty much agree with everything, though, for sure. Top 4, Texans, Saints, Chiefs, and Niners. Yeah, it did not have the Bills 5. Yeah, so. Yep. All right, well, there it is. Anything else y'all want to add before we get up out of here?
No, good week. It was a good UFC card, good boxing card. Caleb Plant almost lost, came back and destroyed McCombie late in that fight to end the game. Then Canelo dominated Berlinga, like me and Raaj talked about. So
I was going to ask. I didn't watch it, but did he smoke him? I would assume he would have.
Yeah, Anthony Joshua fights this weekend too, guys. By the way,
I might have to get back on the Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, it's in. They're fighting in London. He's fighting.
Yeah, it's got to be at Wembley Stadium.
He's fighting. I don't know.
Yeah, I might have to get on the Anthony Joshua train. I jumped off when he lost to Ruiz, and then he's had a resurgence.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's a big favorite in that fight.
Yeah, he's fighting Daniel Dubois.
Okay.
Let me look up the odds real quick.
He still hasn't fought Wilder, right? That never went down. Now Wilder's kind of done boxing.
Yeah, Deontay needs to call it a career. He's made enough money.
They should still give us that fight though before Wilder calls it a quits though.
I
don't know if it'd be much of a fight anymore with the way Joshua's been fighting. That one I'll actually watch. I would have watched the Canelo one, but again, I fell asleep because I had to work early, and next weekend I don't have to work until later, so I'll definitely be watching it. That's Saturday night?
Joshua fights at 5 p.m. Saturday, which is in England, so it's probably 10 o'clock there, somewhere around there. He's minus 425.
Not too bad. Yeah, I want to see Joshua fight Wilder, and I want to see him fight Fury.
Who did he fight before Ngannou? Didn't Joshua beat someone before, a pretty big name, before he fought Francis Ngannou? What was Joshua's his fight before Ngannou was a pretty big one, wasn't that?
I forgot who was again. Was that Jarrell? Was that Jarrell Miller? Or was it?
I think it was Jarrell Miller.
I don't know. I just remember. I thought he had a pretty big Otto Wallen, Robert Helenius, Jermaine Franklin, and then he lost to the guy that beat what's his name, Alexander, the guy who beat Fury. He lost to him twice. Those were back in 21 and 22. So yeah, he brought Francis, Otto Wallen, Robert Helenius, and Jermaine Franklin Jr. were the last three. So maybe it's not. Maybe they weren't as big as I thought. I thought he fought someone else, but I can't remember who it was. The Francis and Ngannou fight, I felt I was embarrassed because I love Ngannou, but that was just he had no reason to be in that ring.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Well, yeah, there it is. That's all I got. All right, man. Sports update, boys. Yes, sir. Sports update. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we're out of this thing, man. Peace.
Hey.